Hello. Hello. All right, what about now? How does my audio sound at this point? Let me know while we wait for some of your comments to come in to see if you can hear me. I know that took a minute, but I'm glad that we finally got our audio fixed. No, it does not look like our audio is fixed at the moment. Oh. Your comments to come in. Okay, it sounds good now. But it sounds a little far away, right? Okay, well, we're going to do our best to fix this and to figure this out. But I do want to give you a little update here, and let's talk about the storms that we've seen. Okay, it sounds good now. Okay, that sounds a lot better. I'm checking it in the distance here. So I think I want to give an update on what we've seen across the northern portion of Oklahoma tonight. So let's go ahead and let's jump right into it here. We've showed the radar for the past 10 or 15 minutes, waiting for people to jump on. And I want to go ahead and stop this radar loop, and I want to go ahead and look up in northwestern Oklahoma. So we're near the Panhandle. You can see the Panhandle of Oklahoma right here. We've got the Panhandle of Texas, and actually seeing some large hail out in what is this, Dalhart, Texas. And then we've also got this tornado warning that's near the northwestern side of the state. This goes until 7 o'clock tonight, and we've got tornado and up to 2-inch size hailstones in this area. So really, really impressive hail right here. What we've seen already is hail reports. So let's actually go all the way back because we actually got a 4-inch size hailstone report in Ashland, Kansas. So we've got Ashland right there, 3.5 inches in size. Then we've got another 3.5 incher just to the south of Ashland, Kansas. And then you can see at that time, we also had a tornado on the ground. So that's why we see this tornado warning highlighted in purple instead of red. Over the next few minutes, the storm continued to dive straight to the south, which is actually a signature that we saw with the Wichita storms, both of those with a southward movement. Meanwhile, over here, we've got more of a southeasterly movement with some of these storms that are moving into north central Oklahoma right now. Actually, we've got to keep an eye on Enid at the moment because Enid could see some strong storms. We're talking about 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half-dollar size hail. So coming into Enid right now, which is nice because that's close to the Vance Air Force Base, so we can pull up our Vance radar. Let's go ahead and do that now. There you go. There's your Vance Air Force Base radar. So what you're seeing here, and I can move my camera over a little bit so you can see your classic reflectivity up here in the upper left-hand corner. You can see the velocity right here in the upper right-hand corner, and then you can see either heavy rain or some hail. This is most likely hail right here, highlighted in green, and the bottom left-hand, or the bottom, left-hand corner. Okay, let's go ahead and get a little bit closer to Enid. So I want to see, we've got some strong winds in this area. You can see that with some of these lighter wind colors right here, or lighter green colors right there. But hail, I'm not too terribly impressed. We've got a 1-inch size hail marker right here, but that may be all that we're getting from hail. So the National Weather Service has this warned for half-dollar size hail, and it's moving to the southeast at 20 miles an hour. Now, if we switch over radars once again, we go back to our Dodge City, Kansas radar, we may have a better view of the tornado warning that's moving into Laverne at the moment. And as always, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you can hear me okay. We did have some audio issues at the very beginning of this stream, so let me know if that happens again. All righty, moving back over to our Dodge City radar, and I think that's what you see here. Yes, it is. We have a much better view of this storm that's moving into northwestern Oklahoma, or currently in northwestern Oklahoma. Obviously, we've got more impressive hail here. We've got a hail marker to 3 inches in size, and this storm has historically produced 3-inch size hail, 3.5-inch size hail, actually a little bit farther up to the north in Ashland. So we do have a tornado warning right now ongoing until 7 o'clock this evening. It's moving to the south, straight to the south at 15 miles an hour. And the biggest hazard here that the National Weather Service is saying is a tornado and hail up to 2 inches in diameter, but we have already seen this storm overperform. This again is in Laverne, Oklahoma. So we're not going to stay too long on these storms right here, but I do just want to highlight that we have several severe thunderstorm warnings right here for northwestern Oklahoma and panhandle of Oklahoma into Texas for large hail in these areas. So if they're highlighted in this yellow color with black on the outline, that would be signifying a significant severe thunderstorm warning, which means large hail in this case. So we've got that up in Kansas as well. We've got Sun City, Aetna, also with that large hail. Ooh, some really impressive hail in this area. Very, very nice. We've got another storm that's trying to make its way into Wichita. However, it's not severe warned. And then we've got many, many severe thunderstorm warnings in northwestern Oklahoma. So again, here's Oklahoma City. There's Amarillo. And then there's all of these storms that we're keeping an eye on today. We do, if we go back to our GR Earth, there you go. The GR Earth showing that we do have a severe thunderstorm watch highlighted here in pink. This goes until midnight tonight. However, I do expect them to expire this severe thunderstorm watch before midnight tonight. Large hail and strong winds up to 70 miles an hour possible here with a possible tornado or two. So they issued that around 4:50, so about 2 hours ago. They issued that severe thunderstorm watch, and everything has come to fruition except for that strong wind. We've seen large hail, larger than 2 inches in size. We've seen a tornado already this evening as well. And we have also seen some strong winds, but not up to 70 miles an hour yet. All right, what questions do we have on this Monday night? We'll stay on here just for a few minutes because these are not large cities that are getting impacted. We won't stay on for too long tonight unless we just have a big round of questions. So ask your questions and we'll get to those. I can see all of your comments on the side of my screen here. And I'll be able to see them in the chat. Who do we have joining us tonight? We've got a few people coming on Facebook right now. We've got a few people on YouTube as well. And we don't have too many people on X or LinkedIn. But we live stream on all of those platforms so we can see people from all across those platforms. One more round the radar here. Golf ball size hail reported just to the north of Amarillo, or quite a bit of ways from Amarillo, in Dalhart, Texas. We've got another severe thunderstorm warning in Perryton. Another severe thunderstorm warning with large hail expected anywhere from Gate to Slap Out from this storm. And let's go ahead, let's take a radar loop here. And let's see the transition of these storms tonight. We've been watching storms for about 2 hours now. This first storm was pretty impressive, moving almost straight to the east initially, producing 3.5-inch size hail over Ashland. Watch that thing just explode, produce some massive hail, and then take a dive to the south. I think at that point, what we were seeing was a storm that tried to weaken. And I'm actually surprised with this southward movement that we still have a tornado warning on it. Let's go back over to GR2. Dodge City radar here. Yeah, this is what I wanted. Let's see if we can, yeah, we've still got some pretty significant rotation highlighted right here. So we've probably got a little notch right there. Well, not probably, we do have a notch right there. And there is your tornado. If we switch this, I want to switch large hail. Ooh, yeah, very significant hail. So I'm just switching through some of the products that Dual Pole offers us. We've got on your top right, storm relative velocity, which means winds, their speed, and their direction. Here's your classic reflectivity, that thing that you see the weathermen use all the time. Down here on the bottom left, we've got KDP. What we like to say about KDP is, of course, it's a great way to measure hail, but it also helps to say where is heavy rain at. Actually, what KDP can often do is it can show you larger pieces of, I guess, any particles in the atmosphere. And so what we like to say is if you see those reds and pinks, what you're probably seeing is stratiform rain. We like to say it's all these particles are the same size. So we're talking about, we like to say like sprinkles, like if you have sprinkles on top of your ice cream cone, they're all the same size, right? But if you throw in some M&Ms in there, then you start to get these different colors. You get oranges and you get yellows, and that's signifying that we have some of those smaller particles, but we're also mixing in some larger particles as well. So it's a good determination of just a quick look. Where do I expect hail to be? Right here where that red square is. But we can see other, we can use other products as well to determine exactly where that hail is. Correlation coefficient is another great determination as well. If you can see green on your CC, you probably also could like to get some hail in that area. So large hail, absolutely, with this storm that's in northwestern Oklahoma right now. Also potential tornado on the ground. We did have a tornado on the ground earlier. It looks like we just have it warned right now. So we've got this little notch as the storm continues to move to the south. That does have some rotation, so that's what we're watching for, the potential tornado. This tornado warning goes until 7 o'clock, I think. Yes, 7 o'clock. So for another half hour. We've got a few more severe thunderstorm warnings coming out of Mineola right now. Ashland, Texas, you're going to get hit again. You already got hit this evening. You're going to get hit again. Let's see if we can get any cameras for this Ashland storm. I bet we can. This camera is down. Look for some other cameras here. Alrighty, now on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, this is taking a look out of Meade, Kansas right now. You can see those bright puffy clouds in the background, but we're really not seeing anything significant in terms of storms. If we pivot this camera a little bit, what we really want to see is this camera right here in Mineola. That's where we've got some of the heaviest rain coming down right now, and most likely some hail. But of course, no hail, no camera to be found. Probably some hail, but no camera. This area, unfortunately, some of these others are not as impressive as I'd like them to be. We can see a storm off in the distance out of Greensburg. I know they got a little bit of hail earlier as well, and you can see those strong winds blowing the grass at the very bottom of the screen. And probably a really nice sunset for those that are not getting hailed on right now. Greensburg, we've got a big traffic jam over here. I wonder if that's because of the storms right now, or I wonder if that's construction that normally goes on. Not quite sure. Unfortunately, there's no cameras up in northwestern Oklahoma for us to use right now, so that is not something that we can use, but we can kind of go through a few more of these cameras Ah, we've got some bright blue skies in this area. Where is this? Dodge City? Totally different conditions in Dodge City than just a little bit to the south in Mineola. And I know we have a storm coming into Wichita right now. I do not think it's severe warned, but we may be able to get some good pictures, videos. We have rain all over the ground. I know that there was a lot of rain in Kansas today, and you can see all of that rain that's piling up on the sides of the roads. Wichita, big hailstorm over there, right? This time last week, or I guess Wednesday of last week. Yeah, these storms are not severe warned in Wichita, and I wouldn't expect them to be either. The areas that we're really keeping an eye on for severe weather today, and let's go back to GR Earth and show you your severe thunderstorm watch highlighted there in pink. Now, these are the areas that you have to keep an eye on for severe weather this evening. Actually, all the way through tonight, this severe thunderstorm watch goes until midnight tonight. And what the National Weather Service is saying is they're saying that your biggest hazards are large hail, over 2 inches in size. We've already seen that. We saw hail up to 3.5 inches in size. Strong wind speeds. So damaging wind speeds, according to the National Weather Service, up to 70 miles an hour, and a tornado or two are possible. And we can see that right there on the screen where we have that tornado warning right now. And this storm actually produced a confirmed tornado just about, oh, what is this? Maybe 30 minutes ago? Yeah, I'd say about 30 minutes ago, we had a tornado on the ground right there, highlighted there in pink, just to the north or east of Roston. But as this continued to dive to the south, they took away that confirmed tornado warning and they just put on a classic tornado warning highlighted there in red. Let's see if the National Weather Service has posted anything. National Weather Service of Norman. And let me know where you're watching from this evening. The National Weather Service of Norman is updating this severe thunderstorm warning right here. They're not only saying that we could see 2-inch hail, no, they have updated this to 3-inch hail. That's massive hail, larger than the size of a baseball, and 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts from Roston to Laverne to May, Oklahoma. Again, northwestern Oklahoma. And here's the thing about this storm is that it's coming into Fort Supply. So this storm, as it continues, watch the track of this storm here. There it is in Ashland, moving down to Buffalo, takes a dive to the south. I think it's going to go to the west of Fort Supply, but we're going to have to keep an eye on this. Yeah, I think it's going to stay to the west of Fort Supply. I'm not too worried about the worst of it coming to Fort Supply. I think it's going to stay just to the west and ride right along the northwestern portion of the state and into the state line here by Catesby and Slapout. And I think that's why we already have a severe thunderstorm warning in place, is because the National Weather Service is saying that baseball size hail and 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, that's very, very dangerous. So they have already put that severe thunderstorm warning in place. They can kind of see the core of that continuing to move to the south, or maybe even taking a turn. Let's see. Yeah, it may even be taking a turn to the southwest. That's pretty rare, not very common at all. It's crazy just how fast these storms blew up today. You know, we started to see one and then it was like just another, another, and maybe even storms that we already had on the radar. They just exploded, severe warned, almost all at the same time. They also took a south turn as well, moving to the east for the most part in Kansas, but as they got closer to the Oklahoma and Kansas state line, they started to turn to the south. You can see that pretty clearly as these storms come out of Greensburg, Ashland, Attica, they start to take that turn farther to the south and into Oklahoma. We look at our ODOT cameras. We don't have any in this area. We have a few pictures. We don't have any good ones to look at here. ODOT cameras, better quality than what we have up in Kansas, but not as many of them. Let's see if we can get something pointed to the north. Do we see those puffy clouds? Can we see that far out? I'm not quite sure. So we'll go back to Kansas here. And for those of you just joining, this is a loop of what we've seen over the last 2 hours. Storms went up around 4:30 this evening and continued, obviously, up until this point where we have, I think, 4 or 5 severe thunderstorm warnings. Well, this is just a mess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 storms that we're keeping an eye on here. Some of these producing large hail up to the size of larger than a baseball. I mean, we saw 3.5-inch hail just around Ashland just a few hours ago. Watch that storm blow up right there. There you go. Right in Ashland, 3-inch size hail. And I actually think it's technically 3.5-inch size hail that they measured in this area. There you go. There's your, it's not technically 4, it's technically 3.5. This storm, just a monstrous storm, continued to track to the south, straight out of Ashland, and even make a little southwest turn down into Roston and Laverne, producing a tornado on the way down. I don't think that tornado is on the ground at the moment. However, this severe thunderstorm warning is warned for 3-inch size hail and 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Some of the wording from the National Weather Service here saying people and animals outdoors will be severely injured. Expect shattered windows, extensive damage to roofs, siding, and vehicles. Again, that's wording from the National Weather Service. They continue to say this is a dangerous storm. Prepare immediately for large destructive hail capable of producing significant damage, and people outside should move to a shelter, inside a strong building, and away from windows. Now, again, that's wording from the National Weather Service, and they're saying that the threat here is destructive. This storm, looking a lot less organized than what it did earlier, is now warned way out from where the actual storm is. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings that stretch all the way out into places like Slapout and Follett and McGowan. I'm not quite sure I'm saying that correctly. Again, because of the movement of the storm, it's taking a kind of an odd turn where it originally started to move kind of to the east, and then it took a turn into Ashland and then moved back to the southwest, which is great news for places like Fort Supply that are going to get some rain but miss some of that hail. And actually, we are officially, are they canceling this severe thunderstorm warning? Okay, let's see what they do here. I would be shocked if they cancel it. They may be in the process of reissuing one. And while they do that, let's go ahead and switch over to GR2. Give me just a minute to do that here. So it's definitely not as organized as it was earlier. We still see that rotation for a potential tornado, which makes sense why they still have that tornado warning that goes for the next 15 minutes until 7 o'clock. This storm is moving to the south at about 20 miles an hour, but I would almost argue that it's more of a southwest movement here. Brand new severe thunderstorm warning. It took them a minute to get that out here, but that's why I said, I was like, hang on, I don't think that they're canceling it. I think that they are just reissuing another one. 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts and 3-inch size hail. So they have actually increased the severity and the intensity of the severe thunderstorm warning. So what we're saying now is instead of 80 miles an hour, instead of 70-mile-per-hour wind gust and 3-inch size hail, we are now going up to 80 miles an hour. This is an extremely destructive storm. This storm, what a monster. The National Weather Service here is saying that this is a dangerous storm. Prepare immediately for large destructive hail capable of producing significant damage. People outside should move to a shelter inside a strong building and stay away from windows. That is what the National Weather Service is saying right now. We're actually getting into kind of a tough area. If you take a look at the distance from the radar that this storm is right now, it's equidistant from Dodge City as it is to Vance, and even a little bit farther away from our Amarillo radar. So what we're doing is we are kind of in the middle of a radar zone right here. We call this a radar hole. Let me switch over radar so you can see. There we go. So you can see how we are equidistant from Dodge City as we are to the Vance Air Force Base, as we are to Amarillo, or a little bit farther from Amarillo. So it's extremely difficult to see exactly what's going on from radar here. Anytime that we start to get these purples in here, that means we are just too far away. What we're doing is we're looking from the surface where the radar is. It's tilted up just a little bit. And you've got the curvature of the Earth. So the radar beam looks farther and farther and farther and farther up into the storm. So we raise that elevation, the farther we get away from the radar itself. So what we're doing here is we're looking so far up into the storm, we have a really, really difficult time to understand what's actually going on at the surface. So I think it'll be really interesting to see what actually comes out of this storm, because right now it looks absolutely destructive. And I think that the National Weather Service is confirming that here with their warning of 80-mile-per-hour wind speeds and 3-inch size hail. Wow. Very impressive storm right here. South of Dodge City in Meade, Kansas. We have another severe thunderstorm warning with some large hail. And then out near Medicine Lodge in Aetna, we also have a warning of really baseball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts up here. How are we doing on audio? Can you guys still hear me? I'm trying to listen over here. How do we sound? Great question here, Aaron. Aaron, are you saying the Earth is not flat? I know, widely debated, but I am saying that there is a curvature to the Earth, given that it is a sphere. And ask your weather questions. I'll be on here for maybe another few minutes, just as we continue to watch this storm in northwestern Oklahoma. Oh, good. My audio is still working. We had some audio troubles at the very beginning of this coverage. And I felt bad, but I was like, here's the radar, we'll fix it. And we did. We fixed it. All right, here's your severe thunderstorm warning that's going into Vance right now, or Vance Air Force Base. There. 60-mile-per-hour wind speeds and quarter-size hail. Not too terribly worried about this area right here. There's 35, I-35, there's Ponca City. So if we go a little bit to the northwest into places just to the west of Medicine Lodge, we've got some really large hail in this area as well. I know that it says 1 inch right there, but I would say probably larger than that. And then storms coming out of Mineola. Most likely some large hail in this storm as well. This is warned for 2-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So there are your storms right now. Let's actually go back to GR Earth and let's zoom out and just make sure that we're not missing anything across the entire US. So here we are back at GR Earth. GR Earth shows more, we call it smooth, but it's kind of that cartoonish look to your radar, but it does give you a wide view. So let's go ahead and go down into northern Texas, the northern side of the Panhandle in Texas. We're talking about baseball size hail falling at about 3 minutes ago. Wow, that was a very fast report that we got about 3 minutes ago. So we probably have some ongoing baseball size hail here just to the south of Twitchell and Parrington. And then this is why we zoom out. What's going on in Nebraska? There wasn't even a risk. There wasn't even an outlook, not a marginal, not a slight, no. In northern Nebraska and southern South Dakota today, we've got $half size hail from this storm that's coming out of Valentine. I'm not quite sure how to say that. Nebraska right now, ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gust is what this severe thunderstorm warning is warned for. The severe thunderstorm is warned for. Wow, look at that. Tornado warning, significant hail all across the southern side of Kansas and Oklahoma, northern Oklahoma right now. Another area to keep your eye on, we were looking at this area for some potential large hail today as well, or I wouldn't say large hail, maybe quarter size to $half size hail in this area today. I wouldn't go too much farther than that, but it looks like nothing's going on up there right now. We have hail ongoing in northern Nebraska, southern South Dakota at the moment, and then of course our big show of the evening is that hail. Ooh, where are we going? In southern Kansas and northern Oklahoma. We got more baseballs reported just a few minutes ago. Check that out. There's your baseball size hail reported just to the east of Coldwater, Kansas. So here's what we're going to do. For the rest of the evening, our meteorologists here at Hail Trace are going to be mapping these storms. So we have several on these storms right now. They're mapping them as we speak. So if I go over, I'm going to actually do this right now. I'm going to go over to hailtrace.com. I'm going to go to today's date. Oh, yeah. And we have some great updated hail maps right now. These hail maps are updated just across Highway 160. Great update there. And then all the way into Laverne, Oklahoma. Perfect. Yeah, these maps are all updated. So I'm looking at that from my side, but of course, if you want to get set up with a map today for storms in these areas, don't forget about not only Oklahoma and Kansas, but we also have storms going on in Nebraska and South Dakota as well. So of course, we're going to be updating those hail maps as well, and wind maps and tornado maps and everything else. So head over to hailtrace.com if you're curious. Actually, I will put the link here. Comments section. And while you're over there, subscribe to our blog. We have a blog. It's pretty cool. Subscribe to our blog in the upper right-hand corner of hailtrace.com. But enjoy the rest of your Monday. As I mentioned, our meteorologists are going to be tracking these storms throughout the entire evening hours. So they are not going to go to bed tonight. You know, we've got someone, or some of them are going to go to bed. Our meteorologists, they sleep, right? Hopefully. We've got someone staffed 24/7. So someone will be up even through the overnight hours because this severe thunderstorm watch goes until midnight tonight. So we've got someone that will be staffed 24/7 to be watching these storms. That being said, our maps will be updated by early tomorrow morning, so make sure that you take a look at those by tomorrow morning. And we'll also be watching for pictures. Massive hail fell tonight, and we'll be taking a look at the pictures that we can find on social media so you don't have to scour the internet for those pictures. And we'll be posting them to our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter site. So go over there to take a look at pictures within the next hour or two. I'll make sure that we get something up over there pretty soon. All right, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. We have a daily noon forecast. So join us at noon on these websites, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and we will get you updated for your weather tomorrow. All right, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you back here for your forecast tomorrow.